Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about the hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And I actually didn't include this on the sheet, but you do realize that we are in our countdown to our 100th episode.
Yeah, the big episode, Big 100, is coming down the pike. I don't know what we're going to do to celebrate such an achievement.
Sacrifice Jerry to the combo gods.
I was going to say sacrifice Jerry to the combo gods and bring back some guests from the past, like the Good Doctor, to sort of narrate the execution.
That's probably a bridge too far for me. An execution, a sacrifice, I can swallow. Speaking to the Good Doctor again, probably not.
I guess we should save that for the 1,000th episode if Jerry's still alive at that point. You know, naturally.
I'm betting on Ric Flair being alive before for that one. Before betting on Jerry still being alive for that one. So we'll talk about the board this week. There was I don't know what happened there. I think there was a little bit of a mistake. Maybe our the inability to differentiate between our voices, but someone thought that it was you who had the big Bernie Sanders display.
The Bernie Sanders display isn't the problem, but it does concern me a little bit if they're mixing up my voice and your voice. If people think that I'm the Brooke Shields sympathizer and all these different things when I'm walking around at these cons, I always kind of assumed, you and I were a bit separated.
No, it's apparently not. Apparently we're kind of lumped in as one and the same. That's one of those things. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I think it's sort of happening right before our eyes. But yeah. So in any case, I was finally inspired. I'm not sure I ever have before actually posted the Bernie Sanders display. Have you seen it before?
I mean, besides in person, besides in person, I don't think so. I don't think I ever really saw you post it. I'm actually surprised that thread didn't somehow hit the algorithm and have people come in with political stuff. I guess it was not, it didn't really catch the wave.
It did not become a freak show at all, which it very well could have.
Yeah, I was holding my breath.
So in any way, it finally is out there in the universe for all to see. The Bernie Sanders display. It seems that I don't know. I don't want to poo-poo it. I don't want to make a big deal about it. But it seems that the ongoing pen discussions seem to be, for lack of a better word, just infinite. There's just sort of an endless hand-wringing and people agonizing about the pens to use, and should we use Posca? Should we not use Posca? What kind of can of worms did we open?
It's never gonna stop. It's every group has that type of just never-ending question that people could answer if they just use the search, even though the search feature kind of blows on Facebook. But this is going to be the marked out autograph collecting community's never-ending, the flame that you cannot extinguish. Is going to be, if I'm getting a dildo signed, can I use a Posca? Can I use a deco on my grandmother's urn?
It was true. I saw there was can I use a Posca on a football, like a sports jersey number? Can I use a sport Posca on a wrestling chair? Can I use all these different? Can I use a deco on this, a Posca on this? And it's like, and then someone comes in with their uniquely bad experience using a deco or a Posca on a different type of item, and it just kind of never ends with people's their individual experiences, I guess, I mean,
and I guess I'm happy they're asking, because there was a guy in another group that it's actually sad, and I'm the type of person where I guess I'm trying to be helpful, sort of, but he posted some wrestling video games like that he got autographed. He did a couple of the SmackDown versus Raw games, which I don't really know why you would do that.
And one of the old,
but PS4. It wasn't even it's nothing vintage. Oh. But I think he got them all done Posca on the outer slipcover. And
that's just brutal.
They're already chipping and flaking off. And he definitely spent probably $300-400 on each one getting them signed, and they're all going to rub and chip off to nothing. And it's heartbreaking to see that. So I prefer people asking questions that are kind of the same over and over and over to not have that happen, rather than, just blindly do something like that costs you thousands of dollars in the long run.
That is kind of an interesting unintended consequence of the hobby becoming more expensive, is that, I guess the learning curve then becomes steeper because, look, like, we've all made mistakes getting things done, but if it's $20, you learn from that mistake and then you fix it next time. If it's $200, that's a much pricier kind of thing to have to try and get past.
Yeah, I think for most of these people, they're gonna eternally be in denial. The guy that he never responded to my question about if that's Posca, is that Posca, and then explaining how it's going to chip off. I'm sure he notices like the one autograph was like half gone already. And I don't think you would it takes a special kind of person to be like, well, I just lost $800 because I didn't know any better. Let's try this again. Yeah. Most are they will hold that with them and deny the fact that there's nothing left long after it's wiped clean, and they'll just keep, it is what it is. But like you said, it's a lot more of a, imagine you're online for Mark Hamill and you mess up. This is not an Adam West autograph in 2005.
Well, that was like when I was online for CM Punk at Fanatics, and the dude next to me was getting a belt done, and he didn't have any pen. He's like, "Oh, I see. He has a silver Sharpie," and I let him borrow my silver deco because if I know he spent $600 on this belt, and so for him to get it done, I figure it was a nice gesture to let him borrow the silver deco, so at least it wouldn't be rubbed off in 2 seconds with the silver Sharpie,
Yeah, I guess that's what it really comes down to, is in-person graphing at this point of where the values are is not an endeavor for the amateur. If you are an unknowing schmuck, meant with love, you probably should stick to buying your stuff from the reputable places that it's done right.
But that really is sort of another unintended consequence. Like, this is not something that gets talked about too much. The idea that there's breakage and slippage and all these other retail terms in this world, that now the customer will bear the brunt of those risks. That stinks.
Yeah.
Your Patrick Wilson, just disappearing Sharpie is a funny thing, but at the end of the day, you didn't lose any serious money over it. It sucks, but it's not like a heartbreaker. But if you dropped a couple $100 getting that done, that would be infuriating.
Yeah, it really changed. In the old days, that's sort of what amateurs did. They would go to a toy show, a car show, whatever. They'd meet these people, and you didn't have to be a lunatic like us to do that. It was sort of for anybody. And, it was as simple as a stack of identical 8x10s on the table, a black Sharpie, and things would, how loused up could that be? But now you're talking infinite pens and all these different things. And what do you have? If you don't bring your own, you're going to trust what they have. If you do bring your own, you might bring the wrong pen. It's really a dangerous thing for anyone who doesn't really, really, really know the science of this all to do on their own. And that's a first in this hobby, where you actually have to really be cautious about getting your stuff done yourself in person.
It's definitely, the game has changed. And it also really means that everyone should have a silver deco with them on them at all times, just in case, right?
Yeah, it really should just be like a holster you carry with a silver deco.
Quick draw over here, just in case, right?
I think I got a new t-shirt idea.
Well, it's kind of like the baseball graphers, right? They always carry balls in their trunk with ballpoint pens just in case. And ballpoint pen with a ball is easy. Obviously, carrying around, and it used to be for the graphers, it was so blue Sharpie. But now with the whole blue Sharpie thing, it also seems like once a week I see another story with the blue Sharpie thing. Just won't die, will it?
No. It's ingrained now in the in the subculture. I think it's never gonna go. It'll never go away.
So weird. So weird. In other news that made a couple of ripples on the board this week, James Tolkien from Back to the Future has died. He was a con mainstay. I believe he was either in his late 80s or early 90s, right?
Yeah, he was up there.
What does it say? He was 94 years old. Okay. All right. So he had a good run.
Did you get him?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to say I don't think so, actually. I didn't. I didn't get him.
I did not either.
He only came in for the Back to the Future reunion to Chiller, right? And he was expensive?
I think he was expensive. Yeah, I never got him. I like Back to the Future. I do, but I don't know. It's not one of those franchises for me where I feel the desire to have everybody. I have the main, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I didn't get him, and now he is dead. So that's how it goes. You were making jokes at me, and I'm still kind of reeling from this. The combo gods have definitely smited me this week, and I'm really not sure what to do.
The fact you're not sure what to do is mind-boggling. But go on, explain your problem.
Well, okay. So a few months back now, I bought meet and greet tickets, the special VIP for Simple Plan, and I believe it's at the Central Park Summer Stage show, which is in August. And with these kinds of shows, I'm pretty good about putting them in my calendar, but for whatever reason, I didn't. And it was like some random Wednesday, in August. So I know I'm off, so I don't really have to worry about it. So for whatever reason, I forgot to put it in my calendar. And then we had bought, when the Dog Star tickets became available, the Keanu Reeves photo op meet and greet things, when they became available, I didn't really look. We just kind of rushed to buy because we were afraid they were going to sell out. And what I've discovered is that they are also that show is also on a random Wednesday in August and happens to be the same random Wednesday in August. So that just to be clear, that's a really unusual thing for these shows to be on a Wednesday in August. They happen to be on the same date. This is a very difficult one. The Simple Plan is not just a meet and greet; it's a whole to do, and that when the show starts at 6, so Lord knows what time the meet and greet is. Probably 3:00 or 4:00. The Keanu Reeves one, the show starts at 8, so they're gonna do the meet and greet probably at 5 or 6 o'clock. The one of them is at Central Park Summer Stage, the Simple Plan. The other one is at Webster Hall. Further complicating these things is that whenever you buy VIPs to these shows, they make elements of the VIP non-transferable, so to prevent scalping. So I am not exactly sure what I'm going to do here. And of course, you are just going crazy about how the combo gods smiting me and this and that. But I'm a little bit hesitant on what to do.
I think it's possible the combo gods aren't smiting you as much as testing you. You have the option here to go to a show in Central Park with a band that, to be completely honest, the average person has never heard of, versus Webster Hall with an A-lister.
I mean, I also think this is one of those blind spots of yours. Like, they had multiple hits on the Heat Seekers list and the top 100. They had all these different. They had like multiple radio hits, like not one, like 5. But it's tough.
Did they star in The Matrix though?
No, they did not. But this is, this is a whole. It's not as easy as it sounds, because for Dog Star, just to be clear, I want to go in, get my photo op, and leave. I don't want to hear a single note of that concert played. Not a single, not even sound check, nothing. Not a single note of it do I want to hear. I just don't know if I'll be able to make it back to Central Park in time. I just don't.
Do you think Simple Plan would be post or pre? Having gone to a lot of these shows?
I know it's 100% pre. I know this, the company that puts it on. I know how they run their meet and greets. They're all the same. It's pre. I'm certain of it. It's going to be, you go in. There's a 15 or 20 minute meet and greet where you meet the individual members of the band. You can get autographs and selfies. Then there's a photo op with the band. Then they take you and they bring you to the side of the stage where you actually sit on the stage during the performance. And there's only like 10 or 15 people who get that one. So the problem is I'm going to be with that cohort of people. So for me to leave and then come back, it's a whole production. I don't know, man. I don't know. The fact that Dogstar is at 8. And I also think I might be able to sell Dogstar more easily. That's the thing.
Dogstar still hasn't sold out. I could buy 4 right now.
Is there another show nearby, like another day for Dogstar?
This Philly.
I'm not going to Philly. I'll have to look into this. Let me see what's going on with Dogstar.
How are you going to sell a non-sold out ticket?
Take a little haircut on it.
So then you're putting even more money into Simple Plan with the money you lost on that.
So wait, the New York City one, August 19th. Yeah. What a weird day. It doesn't make any sense. It's a Wednesday. Why would they do that?
I mean, the simple answer is that they're completely unaware that the other one exists.
No, I mean, obviously, but on a Wednesday, like that's such a weird date to do a show.
I'm really, really flabbergasted that there's even a chance you would not pick Keanu.
I know, but that's also, I think, part of why you're kind of funny. And is the lens through which you view the world is very narrow, right? My lens is a little bit different, I think.
I think it's just as narrow, just in a different way.
How, though?
Because much like me, you like the little stupid things you like. It's just, I think if anything, you may be more narrow because you have these weird little like niche interests that you collect. That's a little less, This is not niche. You thinking this is niche is weird. Actually, I mean, if it wasn't niche, it wouldn't be at that venue. It'd be at a bigger venue. It'd be at the
Central Park. Central Park is a bigger venue than Webster Hall. Yes.
Well, yeah, Webster Hall. I'm not saying Dogstar.
They're going to sell 20,000 tickets to this thing. Webster Hall will sell 2,000. It's not even close. There's a huge difference.
I'm not saying Simple Plan is bigger than Dogstar obviously they're bigger than Dogstar as a band, but as someone that collects, you have a whole collection of Hollywood. You're passing up an A-lister.
No, I know. It's just the problem is that the overall experience in Central Park is much more enjoyable than what will be taking place at Webster Hall, which I know is going to be an absolute nightmare. It's going to be a miserable. I'm gonna have to really.
It won't be that bad if you didn't have this conflict. It's going to be pre. I think it's already said it's pre-show. Maybe it isn't pre-show. Actually, I don't know. It doesn't say it's pre-show. But yeah, let me be clear. Simple Plan as a musical group is obviously significantly bigger than Dogstar. I'm just saying, as a person that travels to different states to meet actors and of significance, Keanu Reeves is the most significant combo you would be getting on this fateful Wednesday in August.
Yeah, maybe the other. All right, so they have a bunch of other shows. The one's in Atlantic City, one is at Foxwoods, one is Foxwoods, the one is in Boston. The problem is I don't know anyone to trade at these. Yeah, I would do a 1-for-1 trade, but I can't because does it not concern you that Webster Hall didn't sell out here?
A little bit. You made the point, which I think is a fair one, that it's such a small venue that maybe they would sell every ticket could be a VIP and they would just accommodate. But yeah, it makes me a little bit concerned that I bumped my head and I didn't read it right, and it doesn't say what I think it said, but it clearly does. I don't know. I guess maybe enough of the street graphers got him the last couple of years. And enough of the pay people are just paranoid and gun shy because of the things they've done at past meet and greets, and people just aren't killing themselves to get it. He's not going to sign. He's been pretty outspoken about it, hating signing of late. So it's not going to be a Russell Crowe type thing where you're coming in with suits of armor. So that is out. What would Russell Crowe have really done if people didn't think they could get 45 things signed? Probably not that amazing either.
Oh, I think it would have done horribly. Absolutely horribly.
So this is not, I don't think it's a bad omen per se. it just surprises me a little bit. I was tripping over myself to order it that night because I thought it was going to be gone in seconds, and I mean, it's not. Had you taken more time, you could have figured out this crisis here.
No, it's brutal. It's literally brutal. I'm trying to even figure out. So the Simple Plan says it's at 7:00. I'm trying to see who is opening for them, and I can't even figure it out. It doesn't say.
Have you met them before?
I have not. I was supposed to go last year and something happened. I was supposed to go the year before and something happened. It's 3:03 and Bowling for Soup, so they go on last. I could probably do both, as sick as this sounds.
Well, you'd do the meet and greet there, you'd race the Dog Star, and then you'd go back?
It really would depend on what time the meet and greet is announced here. But I suspect they usually do it before doors, but then you wait for the headliner, and then you go for the meet and greet for the headliner later. But if the show starts at 7, 3:03 and Bowling for Soup will get a half hour or to 45 minutes each. So, because neither of them is small. So they're like 20-minute openers. They're like 45-minute openers. So it's probably 7 to 7:45 is 3:03. And then 15 minutes. So it's 8. 8 to 8:45 is Bowling for Soup. Then 15 minutes. That'll be 9 to 10:30 will be Simple Plan. The issue is when the meet and greet takes place. The meet and greet will probably take place early, 3:00, 2:00, something like that. And then I'd have to leave and go back in if they even let me leave and go back in for Simple Plan.
Jeez.
That would be the move. So I'll figure it out. If anyone has any ideas, definitely sound off in the comments and help me out here. I don't know how I managed to do this. Just really boneheaded planning.
And if you miss Keanu Reeves, I don't want to stand within 15 feet of you for the next couple of weeks after that, because the combo gods, if you think this is a smite, wait and see what they do if you miss an A-lister that you have a purchase ticket for.
It's just a tough one for me, especially knowing that they could. I would feel like genuinely concerned that they'll try and screw us over somehow on Dogstar, because it wouldn't be their first rodeo doing that, you know. Whereas I know I'm not getting screwed over at Simple Plan.
That's fair.
In other news, we have a few reports this week. So there was another con this week. It was a pretty big con, but for whatever reason, it was one that we had no draw towards whatsoever. The Squared Circle Expo was this week. Our very own C-Rat was there. And the two big items that I took away anyway from his report and from what I saw, there was a really, really cool ring-worn display of a bunch of there was a Ric Flair robe. There was some Bret Hart items and whatnot. And also there was the Muta Chono dual photo op where they were both NWO suited. I'm using that vocabulary.
Yeah, that's it all looked pretty sick. And the Squared Circle Expo is, I guess, the number 3 wrestling con at this point in the country. Big event, WrestleCon, and I think Squared Circle would be after that. It's a pretty big destination every year.
Yeah, I'm not. You think that the big event is above WrestleCon?
I think there's something to be said for a con that runs the same territory every single time. I think it's easier to sort of travel with the circus, so to speak, and get a big crowd. But no, I mean, I guess objectively speaking, WrestleCon is probably the top dog.
Yeah, probably budgetarily, right? I would imagine.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, it's tough because that is a tough one to say. I'm not confident in that assessment. I'm not sure.
WrestleCon's got the quantity, that's for sure. There's more. People, yeah. You could argue almost every wrestler with a pulse and a couple without are at WrestleCon. Big events a little more, I guess, selective just by running out of vendors and space. But
that said, I really wish Tom would get Muta and Chono together with that face paint. That's something that that NWO gear. Did you see how cool that looked?
It looked pretty cool.
Really, that's one of those moments in time that I love to capture with the group op that unfortunately I didn't get to Squared Circle Expo, but C-Rat did, so it was awesome. Zach Chiera, he hit the Syracuse Collectors Con. He got Steven Toblowski, Why isn't Stephen Tobolowsky hitting all of the East Coast?
I don't know. According to Pasternak, he did Chiller in like 2018, which that was during those weird years where I just wasn't going. So I don't count that. I want him to come around. He's a really good name.
Chiller in 2018 was 8 years ago.
I know. How are you doing Syracuse and you're not doing something down here? It's weird. I don't get it.
I think he'd do great. What a good name. Honestly, I didn't even know he was doing. Not that I would hit Syracuse. Again, what's so funny is looking at this stuff is like I do so much hobby stuff, so much, and yet there was a time I would have been like, Syracuse, right? Am I wrong?
I would like to think when we used to do stuff like that, it was for bigger stuff, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean,
no. I mean, when I hit some wrestling cons up when I went to Amsterdam, New York. We went there for basically. I mean, come on. What do we go to Amsterdam, New York for?
Well, Bockwinkel,
right? Exactly, Bockwinkel.
You said Bockwinkel's bigger than. I feel bad now that we're like crapping on Tobolowsky, but Bockwinkel's bigger than Tobolowsky.
I will say what I always say. Name your favorite Nick Bockwinkel match.
Nick Bockwinkel versus Kurt Hennig.
Totally making that up. And I was the same way. I felt like Bockwinkel was a necessity, but if you really think about it, I went up there for the Destroyer, for Bockwinkel, and for Mae Young. That's why I went up there.
Sounds like a worthwhile trip to me.
I mean, but and I absolutely believed that it was, and I felt that it was. What I'm saying is, if you look objectively to the other shows sometimes around, there's shows I used to go to. You know, I used to hit all the shows.
We did Amsterdam, but then we didn't even look at like Rhode Island back then. We did a lot of things we didn't look at. I mean, we're doing Pittsburgh in a week. Well, 2 weeks.
Don't remind me. Yeah, I know.
So I think we totally put more mileage now than we ever used to. There were those weird little one-offs that we were more willing to do than we are now. But I think Bockwinkel's objectively was a bigger deal than this. I think Bockwinkel on a wrestling level was more like when we did Kurt Russell. Like you kind of needed Bockwinkel.
I guess I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Anyway, I am jealous of Stephen Tobolowsky. That's really what I was trying to articulate. And then Vin went nuts, and he found out that Edgar Renteria was doing a signing in St. Louis, so he just decided to go to St. Louis for a couple days just to add more names to his shirtless shortstops photo, which it looks to be 80% done, I believe.
He just needs Alex Gonzalez. And the wild thing is, Vinny met a guy in St. Louis who drove in from Michigan. And he told me about it because he said that the guy seemed like he might be crazier than he was. And I asked Vinny if the guy had any shirtless memorabilia to be signed. He said no. And I told Vinny that then he was still the crazier of the two. But that guy that he met on a line in St. Louis found him on the marked out autograph collecting community. That guy has now joined the marked out autograph collecting community. And this algorithm is such a fierce force of nature that we are putting together a lunatic from Staten Island with a lunatic from Michigan who crossed paths in Missouri for Edgar Renteria. And now they are connected because of this group. And it's wild. And I love it. It's really just the marked out forum was literally a Virgil vending table on the side of the road in comparison to this. This is the prime of marked out. Even though we sort of talk about yesteryear so fondly, this is the prime. We are living it right now.
I do find it funny that you made reference to that Virgil vending table. Because that's we talked about Virgil in the vocabulary, but I'm not. That's a very deep cut. I'm not sure if people know about that. Where Virgil was said. So for those people who don't know, infamously, Mike Jones, who played Virgil, he would sometimes set up a vending table in random spots, like most infamously in the New York City subway system. So you could actually get Mike Jones or Virgil. You would see him in the subway. You would see him. He would set up places where he didn't pay for a vendor table. It was like a running joke, sort of in the con business, that Virgil would just show up to stuff. So that's that reference. Virgil really is the gift that keeps on giving, is he not?
Yeah, he may be gone, but he lives on. Do we think Virgil has sort of ascended to combo god status?
Well, that is an interesting thought, right? That can Can someone like Virgil, for whom combos are valid, ascend to combo godhood, or is he like exempted? That's interesting.
Did he reach nirvana of the combo afterlife?
Variety?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Anyway, cool on Vin for making progress on that shirtless shortstops. What now? You would know better than I would. What are his odds of completing this thing with this guy Alex Gonzalez?
I would imagine he does. I think I read some comment that he used to do a lot and then sort of vanished. But unless he's dying, I would think he's going to pop up somewhere. And he played a lot of his career, perhaps all of his career, in Miami. So it may be a cheaper flight for old Vin. I know he's down in Florida a lot anyway. So I would like to think he gets it done. I'm curious because he's working on 2. So I'm curious what he's going to list the second one for when it's complete. And I wonder, like, is there a market for like a $2,000-$3,000 buyer for a shirtless shortstop photo that is complete? I don't know. It would definitely be a 1 of 1 on the market. That's for damn sure.
Is that kayfabe that he has 2, or did you just? I'm not sure that was public knowledge.
No, he shows off the 2. He actually responded to someone's comment that he had 2 shirtless photos signed at Dick's and not 1.
No, I didn't know that. Sorry, that was awesome. And then in other news, I guess Soraya / Paige was at Pandora's in New Jersey. I was making a joke before that when we started recording that, again, all these signings are happening, that these are things I probably in years ago I would have been like attuned to they would have been on my radar somewhat, but there's just too many things and it's very hard to keep track of. And this one kind of happened, but Richard Rose was there getting his cards done like he always does, and looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess Richard didn't have a chance to get her at big event. And if you're in New Jersey, Pandora's Box has a lot going on. I just personally, there's almost nothing of a wrestling variety that will get me to New Jersey like that for a one-off. It would have to be something like huge that Pandora's Box would likely not get.
Let's say hypothetically they got the Muda Chono NWO suited dual photo op. Is that enough to get you to Pandora's New Jersey?
If you went, I'd go on FOMO and I'd get it. But I mean, I never watched NWO Japan. I never saw any of that. I would just remember when they'd be on Nitro or whatever and they would show like a clip. So it's not all that exciting for me.
They
but I would
appeared on Nitro multiple times that way, though.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. But I mean, I wouldn't make the trip myself. But if you were going, I'd tag along.
Because now I'm thinking there really was no good reason why I didn't go to Squared Circle Expo, right?
I mean, besides the fact that it was in Indiana.
Well, that's not really a good reason. That's an excuse,
I suppose.
So Wicked Ink Wednesday. There were so many items to choose from. I realized when I was going through that I accidentally posted twice. I posted once. I didn't think it went through because my service was real bad, and I guess it did. And then I posted again. So did you even know that?
I thought you just chose to do it.
No, it was an accident. So what I do for Wicked Ink Wednesday mostly is because my organization of my photos on my phone is so bad. I click the picture button and then I just swipe my finger very hard until it lands on something that I think would be interesting to post, and I just click it. So. And then I can never find, it's never the case where I actually find a specific item. It's just not, because I have too many I have 10,000 random photos. How am I going to search through them all?
You only have 10,000?
You have more than that. That's like about 10,000 photos, give or take. Yeah. How many could you have? Of what?
Nothing. Good. Hold on. I definitely have more than that.
My library has 7,638 items.
How'd you see that?
You click the photo app and it's the word library, and then right underneath the word library it says the number of items.
37,568.
That's an obscenity. What could you possibly have?
Screenshots. I have old mailing labels that I print. That's how I have them. I have inventory that has sold out. I have pictures of whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to get rid of them at this point. Even that swiping app that you could delete with that's like a Tinder of deletion. They just keep swiping left to delete things. Even that, it's 37,000 swipes. That's a lot.
Yeah.
There's no easy way to fix this. I'm drowning here.
Now you have to go through and just kind of one day delete all that nonsense. There actually are apps that go through and for example, you can just isolate just the screenshots and go through the screenshots, and this way, that's easier to do that. There's also ones that will just go through and delete all your duplicates. And I have a lot of duplicates as well. Anyway, so Brick and Egg Wednesday. That is not to say I didn't have a great time selecting them. So Jared posted his Sidekicks Laserdisc, which had Chuck Norris on there. So a lot of people came out of the woodwork to post their Chuck Norris stuff. The Captain posted the infamous Dakota Kai tweet that we discussed on last week's show. So if you want to hear the story for that, make sure you check it out. And Vinny also, he's making progress on his Space Jam 8x10 rather. He got Charles Barkley on there. I don't think he's going to be able to get the rest of them, though. And Michael Jordan, and there's one other one I don't think he's going to be able to get either.
Yeah, Sean Bradley, I can't imagine it's coming around. Those big, giant guys are never very healthy. I don't imagine he's jet-setting around. I haven't seen anything of him in a while. And MJ ain't doing a thing. So it still looks ridiculously cool, but I don't think he's completing it.
There you go. We also had Photo with Friday. Did you happen to see Mike Gavin's shot with Jerry Seinfeld at a Mets game?
Yeah, I guess it was down in that Delta Lounge.
Yeah, no bum rush needed.
No bum rush needed. It must have been a good. The Mets must have been up by must have been like an 11-1 game, judging by that smile Seinfeld had.
And George had a fresh Brock Lesnar shot. Lots of hobby veterans were popping for that shot, just for trying to figure out how the hell he got it.
If it wasn't George, you'd have to really start zooming on it and thinking about it being AI. Because who gets a shot that cool with Brock? But he's a vet's vet, so it's good. I don't know how he did it, but it's sick. Really
cool stuff. And Jacob posted a shot with the band Shinedown. Pretty cool. Don't see them around that often. So on to con news. Looks like Eternal Con on Long Island just will not die, as they have announced. They were on hiatus last year, but they've announced July 11th and 12th for their next dates. We usually hit Eternal Con because they usually have something good. There was the year they had the Mortal Kombat people. There was the year they had the guy who played Cyborg in the Justice League, Ray Fisher. They will randomly draw interesting people.
To pull a Greg 2600 and correct you, they ran last year. They had Vito and they had the other Soprano people.
I forgot.
Yeah, I went after David Wright. So I was there last year, but granted I went late in the afternoon, but that thing did not look like it drew well at all. The talent was just sort of sitting around. I wouldn't be shocked to see a step back in the talent that gets brought there, because I don't imagine any vendor did well, and you're not going to come back again with the same level of investment. So you'd have to think that this might become one of those like hole in the wall like a sports card show types, where you have such low end talent. It's like crazy, like cosplayers and the ghost of Virgil maybe. I think the days of seeing Big Show and the people that we saw years past, I think that'll never be back.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I hope it's a good show because it's so close. It's so close. But we'll see. They're doing a tour now. I actually saw this. The price is not too bad either. An evening with the Sandlot. They have two of the cast members at the tour. Marley Shelton. Chauncey Leopardi, they're on there. There was one on Long Island, but they're doing it all over. You pay, you get to watch the movie, sleep through it if you're like me, and then ask the cast a bunch of inane questions, and then there's a meet and greet attachment on there. But the meet and greet, it wasn't bad. I want to say $110-ish.
Yep, 112 to be exact. It's right around there.
And I imagine it's different because that includes venue fees, and all the venues are a little bit different. So for Pat Chuck, it was 112.
And keep in mind, you also have to purchase the actual admission ticket. That's never all inclusive, at least not a Pat Chuck.
Yeah, but it's an interesting one. They of course they do that thing where they don't say exactly what the meet and greet includes. So may buyer beware, of course, for these things.
It includes that. In Pat Chalk, at least, it'll include that weird guy from Looney Tunes shouting at you how there's no autographs. That's what it includes, I'm sure.
The funny thing is, he's told us his name at least a half dozen times, and I will not retain it. I just can't.
Yeah. It's funnier to call him the weird guy from Looney Tunes.
What else we have? Steel City Con added a few guests and subtracted a few guests. They added Ty Simpkins, Dave Davies, Corey Taylor. They did, however, cancel Rosanna Arquette. When I saw Arquette cancel, my heart skipped a beat thinking it was Patricia.
And when I saw Roseanne canceled, I thought they meant Roseanne. So my heart skipped a beat with that. Rosanna Arquette was about as good of a cancellation as you can have.
I wasn't getting her anyway.
I was perhaps going to, just because she's rare, but I didn't need her. But now we're getting into the nitty gritty where I'm actually going to start sweating. Like if Roseanne died in 20 minutes, that would be like. There's a couple names for this show that if I lost even one of them, it would really weaken my excitement for attending. I would attend, but it would definitely lessen my excitement a bit. So I'm really hoping nothing happens to Roseanne.
What else we have here? Oh, there is a note here that you bought something. You made I wouldn't say a big boy purchase, but a little bit of a purchase heading into Steel City.
Yeah, the issue was I've been lamenting the Patrick Wilson vanishing autograph from my 8x10 of Insidious. I had it with Patrick Wilson and Lynn Shay. For people who didn't hear the episode where I discovered that the Patrick Wilson graph has faded to nothing just because. And honestly, I always regret it. I regret that collecting error. I regret a lot of my collecting errors, but maybe none so much as the 8x10 mini movie poster image days. So I never loved it being an 8x10. So I ended up purchasing a certified 12x18 with Patrick and Lynn Shay, because Ty Simpkins is the son in the original and subsequent sequels. He's never done a con I've been at before. So I needed something to add him to, and I needed to sort of make right that faded autograph that has haunted me now for weeks. So I'm back in the Insidious game. I have a 12x18, which I much prefer to what I had. So, I mean, it works out well.
From what I see, it looks like a good shot. So there it is. Chill Out added Uncle Nino from Jersey Shore, and Paula Abdul, and they canceled Warwick Davis. And that happened. Who's Craig Bierko?
You don't know him?
No, who is that?
Hold on, I gotta look him up.
So you don't know him either?
He's one of those names that the name sounds a lot bigger than it is. Let me see who the hell he is. Perhaps he's not worth mentioning.
From Scary Movie 4?
All right, maybe he's not worth mentioning.
I was like, who the hell has seen that? You were frantically clicking. So again, just so you know, I skipped his name on the sheet because I didn't know who he was. And Dana starts highlighting and aggressively clicking it that I forgot it. And lo and behold, he didn't do anything. So
hey, he was in 4 episodes of Damages back in 2010 with Glenn Close. That was a good show.
Never saw
it.
He
really hasn't done anything. I take it back.
All right, but Paula Abdul's a big name. A big name, for sure.
2 episodes of Sex and the City.
Not to be outdone. Speaking of Sex and the City, Chiller Theater just added rare guest Christopher Lambert. Or Christopher Lambert, if you want to be technically accurate, who is from Highlander, of course, but infamously was Lord Raiden in the first Mortal Kombat movie. Kind of a huge con name who just hasn't done a lot of cons in the past decade.
Yeah, I think I've seen nothing he's done, but I will get him because it just feels like the right thing to do.
You've never seen the first Mortal Kombat movie?
No.
That's kind of strange, no?
I don't know.
It's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat had its moment, Anyway.
I was the right age for it, but no, I didn't. I don't know why.
Anyway, that's a huge ad. I mean, he's gonna draw like crazy. There's this pent up. Highlander has this like it's not for me, but it definitely has this huge cult following for sure. Monster Mania Cherry Hill added Malcolm McDowell, who always draws well. I mean, he's one of my favorite con guests always. And Heather Langenkamp. So that's another, great name. Fanatics Fest. Sorry, go ahead. What?
No, go on.
Fanatics Fest still tweaking their lineup. They shifted Logan Paul. I guess they initially announced him as doing combos. Now he's not doing combos. He's only doing the podcast, but that could change again. Who knows? It's unclear.
Yeah, and just be aware the on sale date is April 1st, I believe, at 12 p.m., I believe.
That's like very soon.
It's coming up this week. Are you going to be jumping into are you getting into the queue?
I kind of have to. I mean, there are certain people I need, but this is a weird show because I can't make Sunday. I'm already booked for something else. So but it looks like most of the WWE names are Thursday. I do need Randy Orton. I would like Liv Morgan. All the others I would like them, but I could also take or leave most of the others. So
as of now, honestly, I could skip the entire WWE portion of the lineup. There's nothing I really need. Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer, it's like whatever. And I wouldn't mind a Randy Orton like standing upgrade. But again, I don't need it. For me, this show is all about the basketball on the other days. But we know there's going to be another drop of WWE, and there's definitely going to be someone I care about more so, like an Obafemi. So I probably should get the ones I want from WWE, figuring I'll be there for bigger fish by the time it's all said and done.
What's funny is it would have been cheaper for you to fly down to Orlando and get Obafemi than it will be to take the day from work, buy all the stuff from Fanatics, and do it in New York. Do you know that?
Yeah, it's true.
But this is the lifestyle that we lead, isn't it?
We chose the life. Well, maybe the life chose us.
Maybe. Rhode Island Comic-Con added Henry Winkler. Henry's doing another run, I guess. He's always a big draw, always a lot of fun. Always a lot of fun to be around Mr. Henry Winkler. Terrificon added D. Bradley Baker. Have you gotten D. Bradley Baker or no?
I haven't.
Is he on your list?
He isn't as of this moment, but I planned on digging down into his repertoire there, see what has he done. I have to really go in through it. Oh crap, he's on American Dad. It's not good. Yeah.
He has a lot of voice acting credits. So, and he is Appa on Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is like his. Even though he just kind of goes, it makes these silly noises, but
he's also done a bunch of SpongeBob voices. Like he's no.
Oh yeah, he's a major voice actor. He's done a million things.
Crap. Yeah, I think I need him.
Super nice guy. He's also, if it matters to you, he's also Eagly on Peacemaker.
I've never watched it.
You don't watch Peacemaker with John Cena?
No.
Why are you saying no? Like that's very strange.
I haven't watched much of anything John Cena's done. I don't go chasing John Cena properties, even though he's been in quite a few that are actually pretty good. I've heard. I haven't seen many. Oh,
Peacemaker's a great show. Genuinely. I'm surprised. I really thought you would have seen Peacemaker. It seems up your alley.
No. I mean, I should. I haven't.
I don't know. I think that's all the con news. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Get your Marked Out Radio merch on our Pro Wrestling Tees shop. You got to see the link below the Facebook post, or you can check out the pin post on Facebook, or you can check out the link on Substack. Get to ProWrestlingTees.com and check out Marked Out Radio. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and or review. You can leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a comment on any episode on Spotify or a rating on the show overall. Or you can leave a thumbs down, a thumbs up, or a comment on any episode on YouTube. All right, so the Marked Out vocabulary word of the week is split. Given that I really don't do them, you are the best person to answer. What is a split?
A split is the honest way to sort of share in the cost of a photo op. And what you typically do on a split is one person goes on one side, the other person goes on the other side, and then you crop your friend out of the photo as if they never existed in the first place. You just cut them out. and that's what happens. And basically, when you're taking these photos, you almost like the celebrity when you're doing a split that is weird and doesn't want to touch you and sort of stands all like within themselves because they are easier to fix. And for some of us out there that are really crazy, although Class 316 would roll over in his grave at the thought of this, some of us will actually like fix the splits so they don't look like splits at all. Like you could add extra arms and hands and different things from other photo ops from the same day and make the like chopped off cropped shoulder blade of someone appear like a complete photo. That, depending on how much I care, dictates how much I'll do to fix. But now in the AI world, it's a hell of a lot easier to sort of like, highlight that beloved friend of yours and put it into an app and it will remove them. For a little while there, I was making some pretty good money editing people's photo ops, charging whatever I would charge, like $20 each to take out their splitter. But now, I mean, with AI, I think I probably lost that side hustle.
Sad. Another consequence of AI taking people's work, huh?
It's a good way to take advantage of the desperate con goer.
It's a move. It's certainly a move. Of course, this is a photo split, not to be confused with splitting a combo, which is something that people do all the time, which is when you walk up to a table, one of you needs a photo, the other only needs an autograph, and so you buy a combo and then get one of each. And keep in mind that splitting a combo can often turn into a switcheroo with a little bit of a sleight of hand.
Yep. Class 316 will beg me for these on a daily basis. But the problem with that is you then have to deal with Class 316's off-the-wall energy in these moments. And,
who wants that?
It doesn't always work out.
So the main topic today is, well, I guess the context for it is receiving my Jurassic Park poster back in the mail from Everest Collectibles that had been signed by Jeff Goldblum. That was the subject of a lot of discussion between us and Zach Linder, and then we recounted some of that on the show. So when I sent you my return from Jeff Goldblum, what was your reaction?
I didn't love it, but it was prepped really well.
So can you explain exactly what you didn't like about it? Without saying, what exactly the issue is.
My issue was, as I said, I think it was last week we talked about this again, but my issue was mainly the Dr. Ian Malcolm that was basically corner to corner on the poster. There was no need for the character name to be the biggest part of the whole thing. The quote being big wouldn't have been how I would have requested it, but I think you could argue in some sort of almost like a graffiti street art kind of way. It's kind of like, it's cool because it's such an important theme of the movie. But the Dr. Ian Malcolm written by like a 7-year-old, it looks like huge. I don't like.
Yeah, it's really, really big. And as my brother said, he wrote like a 5-year-old. Now, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make a post about this so you can really see, I prepped the hell out of this thing. We were kind of ranting last week about how a lot of the items for Rick Martel from the other companies were not prepped in a way that made it easy on people to get them signed. I make it very, very easy for someone getting my stuff signed where you really can't mess it up. I tape off the area. You should always use that green frog tape, which is really, really, really good because it doesn't leave any adhesive on the surface, but it's not like a Post-it where the gummy adhesive comes off. I taped out so that only the area that I wanted it signed was exposed. I made sure in very, very clear writing to put exactly what I wanted him to put. So there was no mistaking it at all. And what was the result of my my extensive preparation?
It was not exactly the way you wanted it.
Now he ignored me. He ignored it. He definitely ignored it, which is funny on some level. But it really shows you, I think, that no matter how well prepped an item is, when the pen is in the hand of the celebrity, and the celebrity's going to do what they want to do. And what's funny is all of the private signing companies have that as part of their disclaimer, that at the end of the day, the celebrity's going to do whatever the celebrity wants to do. This is a really good example of that.
Yeah. You want to give yourself the greatest opportunity for success, which is why you prep something to the level that you prep it. But at the end of the day, there's no guarantee. And you sort of just hope everything goes, the best it possibly can. And I think I like the idea of the frog tape getting out there a little bit more to be such a safe option, because when we were prepping for Martell, you wanted to put the frog tape on everything, like the actual items. And I said to you, hold on, I don't know if we can. I knew it wouldn't damage anything, but I'm like, we have these original promos that are 35 years old. Then we're going to go throw it up on the video of him signing, and people are going to have like a coronary because they're going to see tape on these like rare, delicate things. And I was concerned that people wouldn't realize how safe it was and would think we were being reckless with their stuff. So we didn't do that on my urging, just because, and it would have been fine and easier if we had. No damage would have come to anything. So I want to sort of normalize that you could put frog tape on the Declaration of Independence, and it would be like, okay.
Yeah, I believe afterwards I was like, from now on, frog tape on everything. It's non-negotiable. It's not negotiable. Frog tape goes on all the items. Just because it's easy to see, it's easy to tape things off. And by the way, not masking tape, not blue painter's tape, green frog brand tape. I feel like I'm giving away an industry secret because, as you know, I always tape off my items at conventions as well. I just think it's the thing to do to not get them messed up.
How about neon orange duct tape? Would that work just as well?
Oh my God! Let me tell you, it's funny because that one of the packages we got in the mail was sealed with duct tape. Don't do that, by the way. You use duct tape when you never want it to come up. You don't want to use it when you need it to be cut. This duct tape is fabric.
I think I'm going to defend the person that did that. I think he was having a moment. I think he was trying to get this stuff sent out. I bet you he couldn't find his packing tape, or he just didn't have any. And he found duct tape. And you could patch up a gunshot wound with duct tape. So I think he just went to the tried and true saver of lives duct tape and used it in absence of anything else.
No, I'm certain that's what happened, but that just really shows not a lack of preparedness. It doesn't. Again, it is what it is. But I think it's really important to, the packing tape is packing tape for a reason, because not only does it go on clear, which is important, but it also cuts really easily. You take a razor blade to packing tape and it splits instantly, which makes it the ideal for certain things. It's certainly not for, but pro tip, because the people who use packing tape to then bubble wrap their stuff, you don't want to do that, because if you use packing tape and then the packing tape actually gets stuck to an 8x10 or to the packing tape can rip and damage something really easily. So that there's I don't know, not that I want to go down this whole rabbit hole of tape, but I'm going to. If you want to tape on an item, you use green frog tape, okay? If you want to tape bubble wrap closed, you use either green frog tape or you use satin gift wrap tape, like Scotch tape, but the gift wrap tape, not regular Scotch tape. That's too sticky. The satin gift wrap tape, like for Christmas gifts, is the best one to use. It comes up nice and easily.
Whenever I wrap a Christmas present, I always just use regular Scotch tape. I even know there was such a thing.
This Scotch gift wrap tape. It's satin and it's slightly opaque and it's much more delicate. It goes on sale around the holidays. The Scotch purple box is the.
Why are you wrapping? Who are you wrapping Christmas presents for?
What?
Who are you wrapping? You don't have to wrap Christmas presents. Come on.
Of course I do. What are you talking about?
I don't wrap anything. I use boxes. I use bags. I use garbage bags. Whatever I got. I don't wrap.
No, I think we can. I think you understand that in certain ways we lead very different lives, and this is one of them. You've never seen what my Christmas tree looks like with the gifts and whatnot?
No.
Yeah, that's true. Clearly, no. There's any given Christmas is 100 gifts under that tree. All of which are wrapped, unless it's a very oddly shaped item. They're all wrapped.
Who knew you were such a rapper?
Yeah. Not a rapper like KRS-One, right? Not like that, but one who wraps gifts, right? WRAP.
I feel like KRS-One is probably more in my camp as far as wrapping gifts.
I bet not. You've met KRS-One, yes, right?
Stop rubbing it in. No, I never met.
He's a very nice, very nice, very soft spoken, very nice. I'm sure he wraps Christmas gifts with intentionality, honestly, and I'm sure he uses satin gift wrapping tape, not regular tape like a chud. So anyway, and then in your outer box, to recap, green painter's tape on the item, satin Scotch tape, gift wrapping tape if you're taping bubble wrap, and then your box, one layer, not 5 layers, one layer of packing tape, and everything will be fine. I've probably what is that great line that Ric Flair said to Sean Waltman on Nitro that time? I've had more world titles than you've had pieces of ass. I've wrapped more boxes than probably almost anyone on earth. Because I was doing all this stuff for decades already. In the early 90s, I was sending stuff. So that's how you do it. That's how you maintain integrity of your box, but also you don't use a million packing objects and wreck things. So in any case, use green frog tape to label your items. Sharpies. Post-its are real bad. They're real bad. Because, Dana, you can attest to this. What is the one thing Post-its are really, really good at doing?
Falling off.
They fall off with a stiff breeze, especially if you use non-Post-it brands. If you use an off-brand, forget it. But even if you use the 3M Post-it brand, they still fall off all the time. And also, Post-its leave residue. Not always, but sometimes. You know what doesn't leave residue? Green frog tape.
Green frog tape, it never does.
Never does. I think I've successfully converted you to green frog tape, right?
Yeah, I use it for whatever, all that type of thing. If I'm wrapping, another way I use it, if someone buys like a stack of 8x10s from us and I don't put them in top loaders because it's too many, I will fold over I'll fold over the plastic sleeve and I will tape it to 2 pieces of thick cardboard. And I always use the green frog tape. Because God forbid the 8x10 slips out of the sleeve, it would be stuck to the tape. But with the frog tape, it ain't sticking. It's safe.
Yeah, it's important. When you ship a card, right, in a top loader, stick a little bit of frog tape over the edge to make sure it doesn't come open and the card doesn't go sliding out in the mail. That's a thing people do. Some people use Scotch tape, but frog tape is better because frog tape peels right up. Sometimes Scotch tape doesn't. You have to use your nail and scrape it off. So I strongly recommend frog tape. But in any case, back to the case, the story with my poster. It looks weird. He wrote Dr. Ian Malcolm, this huge Dr. Ian Malcolm, right across the middle of my poster. What kills me is he saw that it was signed by Steven Spielberg. And it just shows, I have no illusions. And I think it's important for us to understand. When you or I see a Jurassic Park poster signed by Steven Spielberg, we ooh and we ah. Even when the kids from Jurassic Park saw my Steven Spielberg signature, what's his face? Joey Mazzella was like, I got to be careful with this one. He said it to me. What does Jeff Goldblum think when he sees that the poster is signed by Steven Spielberg?
That it's worth a lot of money, and you're probably going to sell it.
Oh, I think I was going to go with he doesn't think at all. He just signs right. He doesn't give a shit. One bit.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Goldblum probably not, but let's not ignore that for some of these people out there, the more money they think something's worth, the less desire they have to do a good job, because God forbid someone makes a dime off of them, even if you're paying them to do this job. Some people will have a chip on their shoulder.
In the context of a private signing, though, these people aren't looking at the items at all.
Yeah, he didn't see Spielberg, I'm sure. Some of them will. Yeah, Goldblum was flying, I'm sure.
I got a short graph. I got full quote, full inscription. I mean, the quote plus the inscription took up 5 times, 10 times the amount of real estate on that poster as his little tiny signature. That said, do I agree sending out? Do I agree? Do I regret sending out to Jeff Goldblum? I don't, because I kind of had a feeling it was going to come back this way. That was one of the things. If you're going to get Jeff Goldblum is going to Jeff Goldblum, right? That's what he's going to do. And you're not going to get a perfect, manicured, beautiful signature out of Jeff Goldblum. It's not going to happen. So you have to just deal with it.
My only question would be, if you kind of knew it wasn't going to come back perfect, is there not an argument that maybe you didn't need the character name? If the character name is what was largely wrong with it, like you could have saved some money, just went with a signature. Wouldn't that have been better?
No, it would be better. It wouldn't. It would still be a short sig then. So he would have short sigged me, and I would have had a quote. How is that better? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you paid money for arguably an eyesore the way it came out.
Yeah, but it would have been an eyesore if he just signed it with a quote too.
True, but it would have been a smaller eyesore.
Whatever. It's done. I don't really care that much about it. It's fine. It's fine. It didn't. Again, because it's Jeff Goldblum. You take what you get. This is not entirely unexpected. This is what he does. I don't think he means anything by it. I don't think it was meant to wreck it. I don't think it was meant to say, "Look at me, I'm gonna put my name in the center like that." He just doesn't care about your items the way you care about your items, and what's true of most celebrities. They're on autopilot. That's how it goes, and that's how it goes for a lot of these signings. We had it's funny. I'm gonna tell the 2 Silver story, okay?
Yes.
So we had an item come in to Rick Martel through another vendor, and it was prepped. They had it prepped. We didn't touch the prep on it because we only got it shortly before the show started. And at the top, it was kind of taped down with a Post-it. It said silver. The word. Now I knew what that meant was silver deco, right? Rick Martel, a 70-year-old man, doesn't know what the hell it means. And of course, it was so as it passes through, Rick Martel writes to silver and then signs it in silver deco, of course. And the vendor who whose item it was like confused by that, and then you did tell them, right? It said silver on it, right? They left the tag with silver on it.
Yeah, of course.
So then, what exactly, like when Rick Martel or whoever is signing, they read the tag that's on there. You have to be very careful what the tag says. They're gonna write what they're gonna write. And once he wrote to silver, I didn't see it until he already had SIL. At that point, what am I gonna do? Tell him to stop in the middle of the word?
And luckily it was on a hard surface. It's an easy fix.
It can be wiped in 2 seconds. Easy wipe.
Yeah.
Easy wipe.
So it wasn't worth getting into at that point. If it was like an original promo, that would have been a problem. But it goes to show that you have to you want to idiot-proof these things, not because the celebrity is necessarily an idiot, but because they're going to be putting in the level of thought as an idiot would, because they don't care. And they're going to just go through and be as quick and tuned out as possible to get done and get the hell out of Dodge and make their money and be done with it.
You might think this is funny. So on Saturday night, I went to a drama performance through my job, and there were like these raffles at intermission. And so I bought like 50 raffle tickets. But you had to write your name on each one. So I had to sign my name 50 times in a row. Can I be perfectly candid that my hand was cramping by the end of that 50?
I'm sure.
So here I am. I always like roll my eyes and complain when these people say, "Oh, my hand is hurting," or "My hand is cramping," when they sign for hours. But I wrote my name 50 times in a row, really fast, and my hand was cramping by the end. I was not a happy camper, and they started getting short sigged by the end.
What each ticket cost you?
I'm not getting into that.
Wow, that much?
Well, no, they were different tiers. It was a whole production.
Okay.
It was a whole thing. There were different tiers of tickets. So for me to explain it, it would be a whole long story that goes nowhere because there's no interest.
Fair.
It was about $200 total for all the different tickets. So anyway, On to some listener questions. So it's funny because this one was just asked this week, but I really liked it. So the question is, we have an unknown name like Casey Siemaszko from Young Guns, and he's a guy who just doesn't do signings, and everyone needs him to complete their Young Guns items. He's doing a signing through Official Picks, one of the high dollar private signing people. Number one, does he deserve the price he's demanding, or is it overinflated because of his scarcity? And then, what should collectors expect next with this one? What do you guys think? So, did you notice this signing? Because it did pique my interest.
I did not notice it because I don't know who the hell he is. But while we were doing one of the segments, I actually researched him and the signing itself. So I am actually up to date with what is going on.
Okay, you gonna share it or just keep it to yourself?
I was doing a dramatic pause. I think the first off, I mean, to say like the word deserve, does he deserve the price he's demanding? I don't think anyone deserves the price they are demanding. I think the price that all these people demand is objectively crazy because they're signing their name on something, and whether and then that trickles down to, yes, maybe the person whatever they're signing can then be sold for a value that sort of will keep the autograph price reasonable, but even that is insane. Should someone be paying us X amount of dollars for the crap that we sell? Really? It's, who needs this stuff truly? So I think deserve is a little bit of a dangerous word because I think you could really sort of think yourself out of everything because who deserves what? But I think at the end of the day, scarcity is very, very, very real. And that is a large part of what makes someone valuable. Nails, for example, WWF star Nails was requested by a lot of us for decades, and people paid. I think High Spots did pretty damn well that first time with the private and the virtual, and Ken had him for the virtual. There was a lot of hullabaloo at first, and then when he was in person at WrestleCon Philly, wasn't all that busy. Was not all that busy at all. And you look at that, like Nails was completely insignificant in the big picture. Virgil, for example, on the flip side, was a joke, a complete joke, who had a pretty damn good career. He wrestled at Manias, he wrestled at Royal Rumbles, he was in WCW and the NWO, had a Hasbro. He had all the boxes checked. He should have been a big deal. But again, scarcity matters, and he was the opposite of scarce. He was everywhere. And he was a joke and no one cared. And he was basically begging you for $10 because no one wanted him. So scarcity matters. This Casey dude is scarce. People need him to complete projects. So with that logic, yes, he deserves the price he's demanding because people are willing to pay it, I would imagine, because he's rare. Would he do cons after this? I don't know the guy enough of what he's like to say if there's any reason why he wouldn't. I would think he'd be open to it, but I mean, I would imagine they're paying him a decent rate to get him in to do this. I don't think the high price is entirely just greed. It's probably in part that they're paying him a lot to get him to do this. And if you bring him to a public event somewhere, a lot of the diehard collectors have already sent in because you can't count on him doing something else. So what would the return be on the public signing after this? Probably less in the autograph pile. I guess I would probably say he will do something public eventually, but I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath because he hasn't in this time for some reason.
Well, it's the Peter Billingsley, Mr. T thing, right? The first time someone comes out, especially when they've purposely made themselves scarce, they'll do really well. The second time, they'll do well, but less so. The fourth or fifth time, and it's just another Virgil. And that's a thing in this hobby. And so it is interesting when these people from decades ago, maintain scarcity for so long, right? That's interesting. Like when there's clearly some degree of pent up demand and everyone else from the property has done stuff. And, so they even have more of a demand because everyone's like complete except for that person. But honestly, Patricia Arquette is a great example. Patricia Arquette is going to finish a lot of people's stuff because everyone else from Nightmare 3 has been out except for Patricia Arquette. So yeah, there is that matters. That matters to a degree, and people are slick in the hobby like that. They understand how to get maximize the value they can get.
Yeah, and if you want to look at a name that would fit this billing that I would love to see come out, it would be Jamie Gertz from The Lost Boys. Star. She has done nothing. Like, obviously, Diane Wiest has done nothing either. But, I mean, Jamie should be all over the place. She should be right there with all these guys doing the con circuit. And she hasn't. And I'm sure people have thrown money her way, and she hasn't wanted to do it. If she came out to if she did Monster Mania the next show, it would be, she would be a headline level draw, I think, because everyone needs her on their pieces. But then the second, third, fourth time, she would be like a Danielle, what the hell's her name? The one from Halloween, the little girl.
Danielle Harris?
Danielle Harris. Yeah, she would very quickly become a Danielle Harris, maybe even less than a Danielle Harris. This type of a draw is very, very temporary. And I think this guy, you said Mr. T, and what was the other name you used as an example? Well, let's just focus on
Peter Billingsley.
I think this guy is a little more obscure than them. They were at least stars in their properties. But you see what happened. Eventually it becomes old hat. This is even more. This guy's only really appealing to people with projects. How many people have Young Guns projects? I think that's a little less than people that want like Mr. T. So I don't know how he would do, honestly, in a public setting, or what his price would be, what they would have to make. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about him. I recognize his face. Oh, shoot. So he was actually Curly in Of Mice and Men. Huh. I didn't realize he was rare. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Great question, though.
Yeah, really, really good question. So a question from C-Rat. You've talked about Brooke Shields' upcoming convention appearance and your differing opinions on the level of her importance. So my question is, who do you each consider to be an overrated Holy Grail convention guest who hasn't done a convention yet?
I'm going to let you go first on this. I'm still chewing on it.
So for me, it's pretty easy. People are constantly carrying on about the possibility of, well, you mean you, by people I mean you, constantly carrying on about the possibility of Johnny Depp doing a con. And look, would Johnny Depp doing cons be a big deal? Yes. Did Johnny Depp headline a multi, I guess, $1 billion A-list franchise? Yes. Would Johnny Depp still, in my opinion, be overrated with the amount of potential hype there is around him headlining a con? Also, yes. I just don't think that there are the kind of fans of the Pirates movies that there are of other franchises. It's very rare that you go around seeing someone who says that the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are their favorite movies of all time, usually because people who believe that are so profoundly disabled that they're nonverbal. So yeah, Johnny Depp was great in What's Eating Gilbert Grape and A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1, but like amazing transcendent con guest, I don't see it.
I think that's kind of a crazy hot take, especially since you were calling for A-listers to sort of start making their mark in the convention world. And I think Johnny Depp with Pirates is one of the more marketable franchises that you could think of for any A-lister, really, that's going to come do cons. It's right up there. You would have a lot of people cosplaying a Sparrow and a different characters for the photo ops. I think you are underestimating Pirates of the Caribbean's appeal to the people that are coming. Maybe it's not their all-time favorite movie, but it's something. And you're also forgetting about all the Tim Burton stuff. People would show up with the scissor hands, and he has characters that are completely just iconic, and that matters in the convention draw business. That's what I always said was sort of limiting what Brooke Shields would do. That while she's iconic for things, it's different. You're not going to have a 300-pound man or woman showing up in their Calvin jeans. Like, it's different than just coming dressed like Jack Sparrow.
I want to, just so you said that, I'm pretty sure we're going to see that.
I mean, do they make Calvin jeans big enough at this point for these people? I don't know. But I think
it's not 1982 anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All shapes matter. I think you're underestimating Johnny Depp considerably, and I think he would do business on a level that, I mean, I'm not going to say he would do it on a level we've never seen before, but I don't think he would be beaten by very many people. I think he would have his line and his appeal in a stateside con would stand toe to toe with anyone. And I think, like I said, I think that take you made was a little short-sighted. But at the same time, it's a really good question, but I feel like I don't have a really good answer for. So I'm a little jealous, honestly, that you had this answer, because it's not the worst answer.
You know what's funny? The answer might actually be like a Kevin Costner or something, right? Who was like an A-lister, but I'm sure. I mean, I don't. He didn't draw particularly well for Fanatics. He certainly didn't sell out.
Here's where I'm going to take this question, and I think, honestly, my take after I make it's going to be worse than yours, but I'm going to make it anyway. A lot of people want one of the hottest properties in convention history, and I think you will agree with me, is Star Wars. Original trilogy, follow-up trilogy, aka prequel, big business all around. Everyone likes these people. Everyone comes out for them time and time again. But I bring you to the third trilogy, where I know there's a lot of people that want Daisy Ridley. Isn't that her name? Am I mixing? I think I'm mixing up her character name and her real name. Hold on. Daisy Ridley. What the hell's her name? Or is that her name?
Daisy Ridley. I think that's her name.
It is Daisy. I'm right. All right, Daisy Ridley. Sorry. I don't think Daisy Ridley would really do the business people think she would do, and my thesis statement and my evidence would point to John Boyega, who was an extremely unlikable character, which I didn't really mind Finn's character in the new movies, but a lot of people hated. It was like a running joke about how bad Finn was. So maybe Boyega was the exception, but he never draws that well. Maybe that first con a little bit that he did it somewhere else. But the times I've been around him at a con, he doesn't draw like that. I don't think Daisy Ridley would draw like that either. I don't think she would draw to a Hayden Christensen level or a Carrie Fisher level. I think
no, but that's so obviously true. This is such a lukewarm, soft take. Like, I went out there and swung for the fences with Johnny Depp, and you're going with Daisy Ridley. Of course, Daisy Ridley's not going to come on.
No, people.
I don't think this. Yeah.
People are. If you go on like this, like these Star Wars celebrations in Florida, they're begging, I'm sure, for her and what's the dude's name? The Kylo Ren. What's his name? I'm blanking on it right now.
Oh wow, God! I can see his face. Adam Driver.
I don't think it's that hot of a. I don't think it's that lukewarm of a take. I think I'm saying that this entire new trilogy of Star Wars people are not gonna. Star Wars is not what it once was, which I guess maybe that isn't a hot take. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just obviously true. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think Daisy really would draw in NYCC or whatever the first time she comes out, or Star Wars Celebration. There's no question she would draw. But then, it's like anything else. It's
Felicity Jones, and I would argue that was probably the best new Star Wars movie made was Rogue One, and she didn't do like insane. And yes, you swung for the fences, but in my estimation, I think you missed. I think you missed the pitch. I think you swung and you missed. I think Johnny Depp would be a huge draw. I'm taking a swing. I got a nice double down the line with my answer.
Well, I don't think so. Just because, I don't think they're holy grail. I guess Adam Driver would probably be considered a holy grail guess. Maybe some would consider Daisy Ridley. Maybe, I don't know. It never crossed my mind because I wouldn't even get her. I wouldn't get her.
I would need Adam Driver on my Black Klansman print, which is actually coming along.
Would I get him? I'd probably get the photo op. I would have nothing to sign. For her, I wouldn't even get her. I don't think at all.
You didn't watch any of those new movies?
I didn't like them. I got Boyega. Don't forget, I got him from Attack the Block.
Yeah,
not for Star Wars.
I liked them all enough. You didn't get Oscar Isaac?
No.
Interesting.
I didn't like them. I actually didn't even see the third one, the ninth, whatever, the last one. I didn't
either. Actually, I didn't either. But another good question. I like this. I like the ones that you kind of have to sort of think about the industry in a different way, more than just tape and pens and the stuff we talk about that we get to talk about on a daily basis.
And then finally, the last question is another great question from John. What celebrities have you seen at conventions that twiddled their thumbs in the past that now have huge lines since the hobby has exploded? Not people who had a huge role pop up like a Norman Reedus that changed their career. More someone like a Kane Hodder who lives off the fame of Jason Voorhees. I have an answer to this also. Okay. Do you? Let me go first.
I'll go first. I'm going to take this I'm going to take two approaches on this. And I'm kind of cheating with one of my approaches, but whatever. I would look at the Cobra Kai Karate Kid people who lived off the fame basically of that one role and happened to have that one role come back to relevancy. It wasn't like they got a new one. It's the same character, only all of a sudden Cobra Kai gave these people new life. And I remember being at Rhode Island Comic-Con years ago and seeing William Zabka. I think it was the same time I passed on Carol Spinning. And he was sitting he wasn't even on the ice. He was in that little folding table area of the smaller stars doing nothing. And I didn't get him. And I ended up getting him after the Cobra Kai. And I paid a lot more for it. So I think Cobra Kai gave these one-trick ponies, although Macho had a pretty good career. He wasn't a one-trick pony. But on a con level, he basically relied on one trick, and all of a sudden, it was good again. And the other flip side was Funko Pops. The rise of Funko Pops gave so many of these people, including Kane Hodder, including Ari Lehman, including so many of these people that should have been dead and buried on the con scene decades ago, brand new relevancy. Because what were they signing in most cases at these tables? Funkos. And with Funkos kind of dying away now, it's a little interesting to see how the business of some of these tried and true one-trick ponies is going to sort of hang on and sustain itself.
Honestly, the thought had crossed my mind to Billy Zabka as the answer to this question. But I think, honestly, my answer is going to be someone you mentioned earlier, and that's Danielle Harris. When I started going to cons in 07, 08, 09, Danielle Harris had no lines at all. None. She'd be sitting by herself at these tables all weekend. And you and I have gone to Monster Manias where Danielle Harris now has a line. And Danielle Harris now charges like $80 per item, whereas she used to be $20 with a free picture. Now she's $80 an item and draws consistently. And that, I think that is just that is a longevity thing. That is a hobby thing now where people like that. I mean, maybe we will come to a day where the guys from the Warriors will draw. I don't know, but I remember being blown away the first time I saw Kane Hodder or Danielle Harris with a line, because for years they had no lines ever. And so seeing either of them with a line was always kind of mind-boggling.
I still don't fully understand the Danielle Harris thing. How people have, I mean, I understand, and I would hope that the popularity now is sort of for who she's become as an adult. But this was a character that in these movies was like 10 years old. And like, you don't see many people who they're famous for playing a part when they were like 10, 11 years old, little kids, that has become so like sexualized. And she's this like pinup girl that these guys are drooling over. And like, were they 10 or 11 as well? And they had a crush on her when she was 10 or 11. Is it like, I don't think it's pedophilia, but it's weird. Like I still can never wrap my head around everyone like drooling over this girl that was like a little child in the movies. I don't get her as this like sex symbol of the con scene.
I don't know, but she's and you must say she went from having no lines to having big lines, you know?
Yeah, because I think it all ties into this whole sex symbol thing where she blew up. I guess if you follow her a lot closer than I do, maybe you know if she did like if there's like streaming crap she did like podcasts, or if there's something like that, sort of like Maven. Actually, Maven would have been a good one, who actually draws a little bit now with that YouTube show. But
It's true.
yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, really 3 good questions. So thank you guys for your questions. So what's coming up for us? Well, Chill Out Con. We're going to be there on Friday all day. We're on vacation, so we don't have to take a day off. We just had it there on Friday for Brooke Shields. We will also be holding our Sharpie Social, which will take place on Friday night at 6 p.m. at the Whippany Diner. I hear they're working on their first Michelin star. They're getting close, so that you might have to spend $12 or $13 for a hamburger.
I think I'm making the executive decision right now where we all get our own separate check at this Sharpie Social.
That would definitely, I will say, that will definitely contribute to the social and awkwardness that is so endemic to these conventions. Is you demanding a separate check?
I will demand a separate check, and I'm going to tell you why. It's Good Friday, so I can't even eat meat. So I don't know how I'm going to hang with the big boys and make my check comparable. I'm not going to get another uneven split. What am I going to eat? I'm not going to order fish at a diner. So I have to figure something out. Maybe a grilled cheese or something. I don't know. I have to be creative here.
That's it. That is very interesting that you're making the liturgical decision to not eat meat at Sharpie Social.
And I'm also leaning on my faith to justify the separate check, which I think is smart. I think this is exactly what Jesus died for. Me to have a separate check at the Sharpie Social.
That's what a way to celebrate the savage murder of a religious icon. But then to get a photo op with Brooke Shields.
So are we lining up on Thursday for the Brooke Shields line? Is that our plan?
Listen. Well, we're doing pro ops, I guess, right? So
yeah.
No, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I might be wrong. I still contend biggest star to ever do a con, and that's something that I just can't see past
until Johnny Depp does one.
Yeah, Johnny Depp will be the biggest star whose wife defecated in his bed to have done a con. I wonder if Johnny. The only reason they're not having him do cons is because they can't run the risk of him doing hard drugs in public. You know, if he's doing a private signing, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, so anyway, yeah, join us for the Sharpie Social where you can watch Dana not eat meat or fish. Why wouldn't you order fish from a diner? You could order like a broiled flounder or something like that. Would be fine at a diner.
Maybe it would be.
Absolutely.
I typically will get my seafood from seafood restaurants or fast food places. I trust both sides of the coin. But diner, to me, I don't know. I feel like it's a good way to get to shit your brains out. But I think that's just weird thinking on my part. So maybe I will get fish. Maybe this will be the time I spend more than anyone else, and I go for the split check because I know I'll make out good on the myth.
God. If anyone is not attracted to want to come to this thing based on this conversation, then nothing will draw you out. So anyway, 6 p.m. at the Whippany Diner on Friday. We look forward to seeing. We will both be donning marked out radio shirts. We have to wear different ones just to show off the different types. Okay.
I call the combo gods.
For Christ's sake, are you serious?
Well, crap, you. All right, I guess I can wear the logo because you wore the logo to Big Event.
I did, yes.
Are you serious?
I already had. I took it out already. The shirt. All right, what else we got? We got Steel City coming up the week after in beautiful Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Again, we're having another Sharpie Social out there. I hope to see other different folks and maybe the same ones. I don't know. Out in in Monroeville, and we're going to announce that. And actually, the restaurant I found in Monroeville actually looks kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I'm actually more excited for that one on a restaurant level than I am for these other ones. Diners or whatever. I mean, you pick a bad diner, it's just like, a waste of money. But that looks pretty cool.
All right, what else we got? Of course, Chiller Theater. We're all looking forward to Chiller Theater. And then later on in the summer, Terrificon. And then August, Keanu Reeves, if I'm still able to attend. Again, I'm looking forward. I'm soliciting your help with making this decision and figuring out the logistics of this in the comments. Please help me out.
Crazy.
So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. And once again, we have 2 signings left. We're still selling to the public. We have our private signing with Brooke Shields still up for order, and we have our private signing with Boy George also still up for order, but not for too much longer because Chill Out is fast approaching. So get those orders in while you still can. Any final thoughts?
No, just in case you haven't been checking your email or the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community, by the time you hear this episode, all orders from Rick Martel and Don Morocco will be in movement. They will be out the door. I am excited to get space in the office back from all the stuff, all the lovely crap that people sent in. It was taking up a lot of space, let me tell you. You have these prized possessions in the house. You gotta, you trip on something, God forbid, you fall on it all, you crush the figures. It's scary. Who wants these bins filled with these things that don't belong to you? So they're gone. They are moving. They are going back to the people that sent them in. Please share your returns. Post them in the group. We actually should come up with some sort of a reward system for people that post their returns from us, not from anyone else. Screw everyone else. Only from us. That you get some sort of a promo code or something. We got to talk off air about what that can look like to incentivize this showing off the successes. And I didn't want to drop new product until the old product was out the door. How the hell would I look selling stuff while people are waiting for their stuff to come? So now that everything is out, I can start dropping and listing some of the new product. We got a big event. So
we also need to drop. We need to drop the new t-shirt designs as well.
Yes. See, everything's been paused because of shipping, and now that shipping is done, I can kind of get back to my regular life, which is worrying about diner splits and I don't know what else. Fearing the combo gods, I guess.
All right, so we hope to see everyone out there for the Sharpie Social.
And you got to RSVP. You got to RSVP in the comments because people, then no one wants to be the first RSVP, but you got to be the first RSVP. Someone's got to have the cojones to do it. We got to start. We need a head count. We got to know: are we getting a booth? Are we getting a table? Are we getting several tables? How big is this going to be?
Or are we just running a Taco Bell quickly after the show and then dipping?
Well, I wouldn't mind that.
So, truthfully, if you're going to come, you got to please RSVP.
Yeah.
All right. Are we good?
We're good.
All right. So, for MarkedOut.com, Marked Out Collectibles, and Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we will see you at the Sharpie Social after Chill Out in Whippany, New Jersey.